Kanban boards have a long history. They started as paper notes, and there are many teams that still use paper to plan the work on a physical board. The simple note represents the task. It can be easily moved to a column. Some teams use color as an additional signal. For example, orange notes might indicate bugs. Most Kanban applications mimic the look of the physical board and cards, and it's no different for Azure boards. Here you can see each of the work items represented as a card. One of the benefits of a card is it's only a subset of information that's in the task, so it's only the information you think is important. So if I want to, I can just show a few items on here, and you can set what's shown in the card by going to Settings, Cards, Fields, and then for the product backlog, I can specify which fields are shown. So if I don't want to show the tags and the effort, I can turn this off, and then those are taken off the card. But you can make them as simple or complicated as you'd like. Let's go back and put this back in. Go ahead and show effort, show tags, and I'll also add an additional field here. So I'll add a new field called state. Now the state value is shown here on the card. The second thing that you see that mimics the physical board is the columns. You'll notice that some of these have headers on them. So like the develop header has two columns. So we're doing something in the development section. And then to notify my testers that it's ready to test, I can take this card and drag it over to the done. That means it's done with the development phase. And then when the tester is ready, the tester will take it and drag it over to the doing where they start testing. And when they're done testing, then it moves to the done column. And then this is essentially our backlog here. And of course, we can view this as backlog by clicking on this link. And that takes us to the traditional Azure boards backlog view. Let's expand this so you can see that. We're in the backlogs. And let's go back to boards. Other details on the card itself that are useful when you're planning is how much effort it's going to take. So that's what this number is here. If I go to open this task and look at the effort, if this is considered hours, we assume this is going to take 1 hour. You can quickly change that here by clicking on this drop down and changing it to 2 hours or back to 1 like this. It's easy to add new items. You notice at the top here in the new section, there is a new item. So I pick what I'm adding, a bug or a product backlog, and then I just give it a title. Call this new item 22, hit enter. Now, as soon as I enter, you'll see that it fills out some more details. It's unassigned, it's a priority 2, which is the default. It's picked a default area path, and it's picked a state of new. So let's say we approve this. Now it goes into doing. Set this back to new, it automatically goes to the new column. Put it in done, you notice it moves over to the done column. Let's take a look at one of our other teams. Go to the mobile team. Now, the mobile team hasn't set up any work items yet. So this is one way to quickly add work items. Quickly add them, and then I can go in and start filling out more details. So that's the basics of the Kanban board. There's more to learn. We can customize the way the board itself looks. There's another essential Kanban practice known as work in progress limits, also referred to as WIP limits, WIP. The idea is to constrain the amount of work that your team accepts at each work stage. So it's designed to focus your team on completing items before starting new work. You can see it here in the develop column. The WIP limit is set to 7. Now, I think on our team, we only have 2 items in code review at any one time. We don't want people putting a bunch of cards in that column because it takes a while for our code reviewers to get to the work. So we want to limit to 2. So I'll specify the value of 2 here. It looks like I've already done that. I'd close this. And then you can see the WIP limit here as the second number, 4 of 7 for develop, 0 of 2 for the code review. So as I move these items in, numbers increase. Now you might expect that it would warn you when you move it into the code review column when you go over the limit, but it doesn't. It's just a way of checking at the top to see if you've gone over the limit. And now the person that added it to the code review column should say, oh, we got too many. Let's move it back. Tagging work items helps you quickly filter the product backlog by the categories that you define. So when you're creating a work item, at the top, you can click here to add a new tag, type in a new value or pick from one that's already been defined. As you can see for this example, there's an admin and a doctor tag already defined. And when I close this and look at the Kanban card, I see those listed here. And then on this work item down here, I can see there's admin, compliance, and finance. So you define those on the work item themselves. But there's another thing I want to look at, and that's changing the color of the tags to help them stand out on the card. To do that, you go to Settings, go to Tag Colors, click on plus tag color, choose your tag, and then pick from the drop-down, and save and close. And everywhere the doctor tag is on the page, now you see that colored tag. So this will help you identify the tags when you're looking at them in the Kanban view. If you like color coding items, you might be interested in looking at what are called style rules. This allows you to change the background of the card based on a set of criteria. This can be more complex than just changing the tag color. So here's how this works. You go to Settings, and then you go to Styles. You add a styling rule. We'll call this one High Priority. I pick my card color. We'll go with this darker color of orange. I'm going to make this a little bit taller so you can see it. And then you can also specify the title style here. Maybe make it bold. And then here's the rule criteria. So you pick your field, priority, and then your operator, and then your value. And then you can add another clause. So you can do complicated criteria here or complex criteria. I'll scroll over here and I can see that the background color of this card changed based on that criteria. What we'll look at next is how to query data and then put that information on this dashboard.